Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out Top 5 on Friday. This week it's going to be story time. The question was, what are your top 5 most embarrassing moments? Now, I'm sure that I'm going to regret this once I get them out on the internet because it's not something that everybody wants to do, share their most embarrassing moments. And mine are, it was tough to narrow it down because I have so many. And I've got like a little cheat sheet here because I do have so many that it's tough to recall. So, we're going to start with number 1. And if you see a cat coming, that's Kitty. She's just likes to help with these things. Anyway, number 1. I was in 6th grade and we went to Washington, D.C. for a class school trip. And we went to this like monument or sculpture thingamajig, and it was called The Awakening. For any of you who don't know what it is, get on the computer, Google it, and find out. Anyway, it's this giant man that's trying to come out of the earth, and everything about him is huge, from his limbs to his head to his gaping mouth. Now, all the other students climbed in this guy's mouth to take pictures, so I thought, I want to do that. Well, I get in, pose for the picture, and then what happens? I can't get out. So we try, and it's not unlike me to get stuck in things. So I should have known beforehand, oh Kendall, don't climb in the big giant's mouth because your luck, you'll get stuck. I did not think ahead on that one. So I got stuck in the giant's mouth. We had to call park security, the paramedics from the park, to help grease me out of this thing. Now, if that weren't bad enough, the entire, 6th grade had to wait on me to get my happy butt out of the statue's mouth. And that was so mortifying. And then, once we got back to school, because the giant was so big, I had teeth marks that big across my thigh the next 2 weeks. It was so much fun. So that's number 1. We'll check that off the list. Then there's, let's see, when you're a young artist, such as myself, you get really excited, and I still get excited about every chance that I get to be on the radio. But for, my very first time on the radio, it was so cool. And I had to be at school, so I did a radio in with, the station was WIBC, which is huge in Indianapolis. And it was right after I did American Idol, so I was 16 years old. And they've got me on the phone, and they're talking to me, and I'm just so nervous because this is huge. I'm on live radio, everyone is hearing it. My whole choir class took time out to listen to it, and I'm trying to be calm and cool, and oh god. They asked me, so Kendall, what was it like working with all those amazing people? And so I reached for astronomical, not what came out. What came out inside Blondie's head was catastrophic. Now, as if messing up the words weren't bad enough, I managed to insult the entire American Idol staff, the band that I was working with, and John Mellencamp's band. So that was not a good day for me, and I didn't realize that I had this little mishap until I'm walking down the hall, and my choir teacher goes, "Catastrophic? Really, Kendall?" And I still, to this day, don't hear the end of that. Every time I go on to do a radio interview, they do the double check. Kendall, what are you not allowed to say? Catastrophic. So that was really, really humiliating. And the guy on the radio, and I didn't know that I had said that word until he goes, "Really?" And he just started laughing. And I had no idea that I had said that because I was just so flustered that I was on the radio to even think about the words that were coming out of my mouth. So that one is number 2. Okay, I guess, let's see, it's tough to narrow them down because I've got some really solid ones, You know, we may have to do another week of this because storytelling can be kind of fun. This next okay, this next one, only my closest friends, and I swore them to secrecy, will ever tell who this is about, because I could just die. There was this guy that I had liked since like freshman year, and he had no idea I existed. And like we kind of got to talking here and there, but it was just like solely on like casual small talk, not acknowledging my existence at all. And so I just sort of let it rest that it would never, you know, be, but I still like obsessed, not obsessed, but I mean, girls, you know what I mean, you hope, you dream, you like, and especially in high school, you know, draw hearts around your name. It's like Mr. and Mrs. blank. And so I still have a crush on this guy. And my friend Megan and I, we like to go to the movies, the late showings, because there's no one else there. You can go looking like you're homeless in your sweatpants, bring a blanket. You're the only one in the theater. It's awesome. So about 3 months ago, we go and we see Harry Potter. And it would never have occurred to me that this guy would be there because he does not live in this state. He lives quite far away. Oops, dropped a pencil. So imagine my surprise when we're sitting there. I look like a hobo. My friend, she got off work, so she was looking a little bit better than I was. And so she sits there and she's talking about something. Her jaw drops and she stops talking. So I look at her like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, oh my gosh, that is the hottest guy I think I've ever seen. And so I turned to look. Guess who it was? That guy. Now, to make matters worse, he was with a girl. And so I slink down and I'm hiding. I'm just trying to not be recognized, because at this point in my head, the next time that I was going to see him, I was going to look like $1 million. It was going to be fabulous. There would be choir singing, be slow motion running. He'd be going, where have you been all my life? And this was not how it wanted to go in my head. And it was awful, and it was terrible, and I looked awful, and it was just a mess. And so I managed to slink by the entire movie, didn't recognize me at all. Probably because I looked like something that just rolled off the street. So I think I'm in the free and clear. So we walk out and we're sneaking out, and she does the double take as we're about to leave the theater. She's like, he's not there. So we run to the bathroom, and as we're walking in the bathroom, my friend happens to go, wow, you really dodged a bullet with that one, but blank is so hot. I'm like really impressed with you. That I can get why you've been fantasizing about him for all these years. And then she goes, and I quote, it's too bad too, because the girl that he was with is nothing compared to you on a good day. And I say, and I quote, yeah, it would be really embarrassing if he ever found out that I used to draw hearts around his name and be, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And I said, and Mr. and Mrs. blank blank. Now, what happens at this time? Girl that Megan, my good friend, just insulted, walks out of the bathroom stall, stares right at us, smiles, laughs, and leaves. So, I'm thinking, oh, she just heard everything. He's going to find out that that hobo sitting in the front seat was me, and my whole world is going to come crashing down in a big ball of flames. So that was up there, and even now, you know, a few months later, I still wonder, freak out. I'm about to start chewing this pencil. Yeah, as you can tell by my pace and speaking, that was not a high moment for me. And the last one, at least for today, because I have so many stories that are embarrassing that, oh, my life. Okay. So, I was 15, and I was on the show choir crew, which for those of you who aren't Midwesterners and know what show choir is, kind of like Glee. But behind the scenes, there's crew. They set up risers, backdrops, props. They help get people changed. And since I was a freshman, you weren't allowed to be in the choirs. You had to be on crew. So we did a show in Kendallville, Indiana, which shout out to Kendallville. Nice named town, if I do say so myself. Anyway, we were there at this high school, and we were told that the stage was kind of old, but we didn't really know, like, how old. We were getting there, and I had the cutest guy, by the way, that I was changing, which was awesome. Didn't know I existed, but I was a freshman. So anyway, that's around the point. So we're sitting there, and we're about to tear down the set. And I go and I slide over to pull my prop, and then all of a sudden, the worst pain I can think of goes into my butt. Now, it's not fun getting splinters. Now, splinters, when you think itty bitty, not that big a deal. But this was not a splinter. This was a hunk of stage that big that got skewered into my tush. And I like turned around, and a friend of mine like stepped on the stage, and I broke myself off. Because we had to get off the stage because, in my mind, show choir was the end of the world, if, you know, whatever. Hindsight, it's not that big of a deal. But at the time, my whole world was wrapped in it. And if the Royal Airs lost because I was still on stage with a, you know, splinter up my tush, I would be very sad. So I huddle off the stage, and I'm limping. And then, right as we get off stage, I noticed the fact that there's still something there, and it hurts. I mean, it hurts that I was fighting back the tears. So we go, and a friend of mine walks me to the medic's room, and she's like, "It's not that bad. Don't worry, don't worry." So I'm thinking, okay, but it feels like I've got a hunk this big. Can't see it in the camera in my leg, but maybe if she says it's not that bad, it's not that bad. So they bring in the guy who's on staff that day, and he goes, "Oh, can you take your pants off?" So I'm like, no, just, it's not that bad, just take it out, it hurts, just take it out. And he's like, okay, so he cuts off about that much of it, and then sends me on to my room, where a doctor who was one of the mothers of the students and the choir director's wife, who they so kindly poked and prodded with my tush hanging out. I had to lay on the floor with my pants down as they tried to pull it out, cut it out. They took out needles, they took out all sorts of things, and it hurt like the dickens. And I have a very low pain threshold. Very low. Scary low. I don't do well with pain or embarrassment. And so then walks in the choir director going, "Oh, hello, what's going on here?" And that was so embarrassing, I can't even tell you, because it was just awful. And then everybody knew that Kendall got a splinter in her butt. And that's not like what you want to have happen. And so this was the dressing room where all the people were supposed to change. So people like kept walking in not knowing that this is the room where they were trying to operate on Kendall, and seeing me with my pants down as they're trying to get this larger-than-life splinter out from my rear end. Long story short, I ended up having to go all the way back with my boyfriend at the time, riding on my stomach, back to Indianapolis, where I could go to the hospital to have this splinter removed. And I go with my dad, and of course the phone call telling him is, so I have this weird splinter, it's gonna need looked at. Nope, Yep, hospital. Thanks. So explaining to your dad that you have to go to the hospital for a splinter, it's just not fun. And then, you know, you go into the hospital and then have to pull your pants down again so that they can see it. It was so not fun. It was not fun, and it was embarrassing. And then all throughout high school, every year, they would reference, oh, Kendall got stuck to a stage. Oh, yeah, she had to go to the hospital because she got a splinter in her butt. It's not how you want to be remembered. You want to be remembered for being the singer or doing something extraordinary, not getting stuck to a stage because you got a splinter rammed up your thigh. Not fun. It was totally embarrassing. So yeah, those are my top 5 at the moment. And if you hear coughing, that's my mother upstairs. I came back to Indy for Mother's Day, and she's got a cough, clearly. So those are my top 5 most embarrassing moments that I can think of at this time. I'm sure once this airs on the internet, my friends will come up with plenty more. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I'm sorry I can't do more of these. I'm trying to get more videos done. I've been working on a lot of new songs and all that stuff that I really want to get done for you guys also. So thank you. I hope you have an amazing week, and your support means the world to me. And I want to talk to you guys really quick about something that I'm working on. It's called Kickstarter. And I've got a lot of people in Nashville who are helping with this album, and a lot goes into an album that you might not realize, and I'm going to try and post a link to Kickstarter on my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. But it's a way for people to get involved in helping with the project, because so much money goes into these things that, you know, it becomes almost impossible to accomplish. But the Kickstarter is really wonderful because they've got their own backers, and then, you know, if you guys feel so inclined, which I hope you do, to help become a part of this project, I have a slew of rewards for y'all if you get involved. But, you know, as little as $1 helps, and it'll really help get my CD off the ground and out to you guys to listen to. So that is www.kickstarter.com/Kendall Phillips. Or it might be Kendall Phillips Music, but I'm pretty sure it's Kendall Phillips. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks. Bye.